So a few weeks ago, I did a video on hypnotherapy, which generated a significant amount of views. So clearly this is a topic that people are interested in. So I decided to do a follow-up video, a part 2 to that video. So if that interests you, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and stay tuned. So a few weeks ago, I started hypnotherapy. And you can watch that video here. I'll leave a card for it somewhere above. But I was just looking for something in my life. I just wanted something different to try, something a little bit more radical, I guess, than traditional talk therapy. And I was considering going back on my Lexapro, which I also have a video for that, which you could find out about. But before I did, I decided I wanted to try something else. So you can see my initial results, and it has now been about 6 weeks later, and I am still incredibly pleased with the results of hypnotherapy. I would say that overall my energy levels are sky high in some ways because I feel so energized. I feel like I've been saying yes to a lot of things. So now I'm needing to kind of find the balance. But overall, my optimism and my energy and my happiness is way higher than what it was before I started hypnotherapy. And I spoke to my therapist about this, and she mentioned that that is something that happens. That after a feeling of just being down and low energy and nothing really happening in someone's life, they start the process of hypnotherapy, and then all of a sudden, things are sort of coming out of the woodwork and you find yourself saying yes to a lot of things because you feel more, I guess, capable, more confident in being able to manage it. But then what happens is you can sort of overwhelm yourself by all of the different things that you start to become involved with. So that's exactly what's happened to me. Over the course of this past month, I did 2 staged readings. I'm doing an all-day audiobook class this week. Work has been busier. Another interesting, I guess you could call it a side effect, is I have been having some really strange, vivid dreams where I guess the only way I could describe it is a real wrestling with some of the subconscious bullshit that I have that I think informs my anxiety that maybe was there, but I wasn't really thinking about it so much. And I noticed that back when I had started Lexapro, I started to have dreams like that. And I'm already a very vivid dreamer, but I can't describe, there's just something a little bit different about the dreams not all the time, but some of the dreams that I've had now. And compared to when I first started meds or when I first started SSRIs, it just felt like something was sort of bubbling up out of my subconscious, and I was really able to sort of wrestle with it in my dreams. It wasn't always pleasant, but it was very clearly, I guess, something that sort of had to be addressed. And I'm not even talking about a literal incident or a literal thing. It was more just sort of a wrestling with fear, you know? And so I would describe at least one of the dreams I had as definitely, you know, a nightmare. And it had a lot of similarities to past dreams that I had had. They tend to sometimes be set in the house that I grew up in, which always feels for me like almost a map of my subconscious, because that's the house where I was sort of formed. And, you know, there was always something sort of creepy and dark and scary happening. But again, that might sound horrifying, but I almost just feel like it's my psyche detoxing, you know, in a way, and sort of getting rid of some stuff. So I find that really interesting. If you do hypnotherapy, I'd be curious to know if this is something you've experienced as well. I know in my previous video, I was talking a lot about sort of being in this organizing and cleaning frenzy. And the fact of the matter is, I have gotten myself so busy with other things and outside projects that, you know, my house has gotten messy again. However, the difference is Before, when my house was messy, I saw it as a reflection of me, and I saw it as an example of my personal failure, right? And it was something that weighed on me. It was something that just made me feel so bad about myself and guilty. And now all of that bullshit isn't there, meaning that I see that my house is messy and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to clean it, but I'm not beating myself up about it. And I trust that when I clear some time away, when I'm not filming or working on my voiceover stuff or doing auditions or doing a staged reading or taking a dance class or one of the million things that I'm doing right now, that I am going to do it. And so that's fine. But before that, when you're depressed, it's like everything around you, everything in your environment just is a reminder for why you feel bad about yourself and, why things aren't going right in your life. And now, it's like I see a pile of laundry. It's annoying, but it's just a pile of laundry that needs to get done. So that's a nice little change as well. Other news, I picked up another voiceover agent. So as a voiceover talent, you're able to have many agents around the country. And kind of out of the blue, a friend recommended me to her agent. And what was great is that before I even took action, the agent had an email exchange with her where she was checking out my information and was kind of already starting a file on me. So then we had a great conversation and I joined the agency officially this past Monday. I signed the papers and got that in, and I've already done a couple of auditions for them. So that's a really cool new thing. Let me talk about these staged readings that I've been doing. So I went to school for acting many, many years ago. I think it's like 20 years ago at this point, 21 years ago. And even though I had done a lot of live performances, I got into doing voiceover about 10 years ago. And I realize now that it allowed me to get a little bit too comfortable and a little bit too complacent, right? So it is very convenient. I leave my bed and I go right over here to my closet, which is my voiceover studio, and I record many jobs and auditions, etc. Sometimes I go to my husband's studio, which is 5 minutes away, and I record jobs there. But I tend, you're in a booth when you're doing voiceover. So I hadn't been on a stage in over a decade. And, now all of a sudden I did this staged reading, which was great. It was just like this really amazing feeling to be back on a stage. And I'm now associated with this theater company, which is really cool. And I've done an event there where I did a cold reading of some plays, which was very exciting, and also sort of made me realize how familiar and comfortable and awesome it is to be in a little black box theater working with other actors. From that, I was recommended for another stage reading, so I met another group of actors that is very, very close to me here in Studio City, and I did that reading this past Sunday. So it's just amazing how all of a sudden, there's all this stuff that I'm doing that I just have sort of ignored, for the past 10 years. And in the short span of time that I've been doing hypnotherapy, not that I'm giving all the credit to that, but I really do feel like it allowed me to open up and find, a new personal sense of strength and confidence, which is allowing me to accept these things into my life and, feel like I can do well with them. So that's just been fantastic. Now I might start moving into an every other week scenario, because so far I've been going every week, which I love, but now I'm starting to think I can slow it down. And it actually works out timing wise because next week my therapist is away, so I'll naturally be skipping a week. So I'll kind of see what that's like. I'll see, having skipped a week, do I feel like there's a dip in this energy level? Do I feel like I'm balancing out? That's what I'm curious to see. And I have to say that doing this one huge thing for myself has, of course, sort of led and snowballed into taking care of myself in other ways. So in about 10 minutes, I'm about to go see a new physical therapist that a friend of mine had recommended, and just have him kind of take a look at my general sort of neck issues where, I carry a lot of neck tension, a lot of shoulder tension, and just kind of check that out to see if there's anything that I could be doing, to help me with that, even though it has been way better than it used to be. But if you like this video and want to see more like it, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And I would love to know your thoughts, your comments. Have you tried hypnotherapy? Is it something you would want to try? Do you have any questions for me? All that stuff. But thank you so much for watching. Bye.